Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We'll begin our service on page 10, Yedid Nefesh. That is a little bit louder than usual. One moment. Page 10, Yedid Nefesh. That's a little bit better. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, mesochavtecha, el retzonecha, mesochavtecha, yedai el retzonecha. Yadu tzavtecha kemo ayal yishtachave el mul hadarecha. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, mesochavtecha, el retzonecha, mesochavtecha, yedai el retzonecha.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to those of you who are gathered here in our sanctuary. Welcome to everyone who is joining us online from near and far. As always, our sanctuary and our Shabbat gathering contains the widest array of life experiences. Tonight is certainly no exception. We are celebrating a bar mitzvah this Shabbat. We are celebrating a graduation later on in the service. We want to welcome our neighbors and community members at Tulane Medical Student Association. We're so glad that you're here. And know that this has been a week and a month and a year and a season of loss for many people gathered here. I know that many of you are here to observe Yartzeit, to say Kaddish for recent losses, and for first Yartzeit for those that happened at this season in years past, and everything in between. I think probably can safely say this was a challenging week for the entire Jewish world and beyond, and so we're holding a tremendous amount, and it's not just because the sanctuary, this historic sanctuary, is so large that we can contain that, but because hopefully our hearts are so large, our community is so large and so generous, there is room for all of it. And so welcome whatever has brought you here and whatever it is that you need and that you're seeking. We will begin this evening by inviting up our simcha, our first simcha, which is the bar mitzvah of Sully Bar Koyak. He'll be called to the Torah tomorrow morning as a bar mitzvah, so I'd love to invite Sully, along with Brother Hudson and Mom Rachel, to come to the bima as we kindle our Shabbat lights, pages 2 and 3, and we sing together.
ציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Sorry. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give the light to all who beholds us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our day, among those who kindle light. Oh, cup.
We continue with Kiddush, page 5. As Sully lists the Kiddush cup, please rise as we sing together.
Wait, are we singing?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'vratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Chaim.
You may be seated as the grape juice is passed around. Sorry. Sully, Rachel, Brandon, Hudson, your families, huge mazel tov to you as you prepare for this beautiful day. We're so excited for everything that is to come and look forward to celebrating you tomorrow and throughout the rest of your life as you join the chain of tradition and the covenant of the Jewish people as an adult. Mazel tov. You all can be seated. It is told that in the 16th century, the Jewish mystics of Tzfat in the north of the land of Israel, many of whom were refugees or descendants of refugees from the expulsion from Spain, they would welcome Shabbat by descending into the fields outside the city at sunset to sing. This is where our custom of singing these Kabbalat Shabbat psalms comes from, their tradition. Ironically, it seems to have been the spaciousness of that field, away from the noise and the chaos of the town, where they felt the closest to Shabbat and to God and maybe to each other. In this space, they found this intimacy. So too, the rabbis say, with the Israelites Bamidbar in the wilderness. The spaciousness of the wilderness sojourn we read about this Shabbat and that Sully will share about tomorrow morning from the Torah was also a time of great focus and intimacy among the people and with God. Those 40 years and that sense of formation after such a destabilizing change actually strengthened them and helped them find their voice and their connection to the divine. In a world that pulls our attention in so many directions all the time, this week being such a powerful example as our community and beyond churned in pain and confusion, let us follow in the footsteps of the Israelites and the Kabbalists during our service and prayers tonight, and especially as we enter Kabbalat Shabbat. In this vast sanctuary, let us embrace the spaciousness that we're all experiencing as a chance to listen for our own still small voice and lift it whenever possible toward each other and toward God. Whatever language you pray in, whatever voice you have, it's welcome and it lifts up all prayers. So we continue with leaning into that space and that field, that
precedes our core liturgy, beginning on page 12 and then 13 and onward.
Lechuner hanena ladonai nariha letzor yishenu nikad mafanav betota bizmirot nariha lo shiru ladonai Chada, Shiru Ladonai Koret, Shiru Ladonai Barkut Shemo, Basru Miyom Leyom Yeshuato, Zabru Vagoyim Kevodo, Bekohamim Miflotav, Ki Gadol Adonai. Page 20, Legato D, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Yadidadidai Legato D. Yadidadidai Likrat Kala. Yadidadidai B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Yadidadidai Legato D. Yadidadidai Likrat Kala. Yadidadidai B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Yishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'litilai. Yadidadidai Legato D. Yadidadidai Likrat Kala. Yadidadidai B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat Lekuven Elcha. Imekor Habracha. Verosh Mikedem Nesucha. Sof Maaseh B'machshvat Milah. Yadidadidai Legato D. Yadidadidai Likrat Kala. Yadidadidai B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Itoreri.
Verse 5.
Itoreri. Ki vaore kumiori. ידדדדד לקראת כלה, ידדדדד בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. We rise and face the rear entry for verse 9. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, ידדדדד לקראתי, ידדדדד לקראת כלה, ידדדדד בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. We hope and we pray each week as we bring in Shabbat that this space can be whatever we need it to be in the moment. A little bit later on in our service, there's this a prayer that talks about may it be a sanctuary and a safe space for those who need it in the middle of our Amidah. On Shabbat mornings, we often read an opening reading that talks about welcoming those who have cares to unburden and thanks to express and hopes to nurture. Similar to the way that our Psalms share that as water reflects the face, so one's heart reflects the person. So much of what we bring into this space is what we carry each week. Difficulties, excitements, fears and trepidations, wonders. I think one of the things I love about working with people is that some of us are not always so very good about covering that up on our faces. I appreciate when I can see that on all of your faces. And that's never more prevalent than with our kids. They really don't know how to cover that sometimes, and that's actually one of the most beautiful things about you. So whatever you're carrying tonight, if you're under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, if you are still a Jewish kid even by like 24 hours, or 12, come on up, come join me. If it's your first time here, you're still welcome to come on up, and if you're very, very little and you need an adult to bring you up too, that is perfectly fine. Come on over. It's your last time.
If your little ones are going to be joining the babysitting crew, just make sure a big person from your family checks in with them so they know where to find you and what your face looks like in case you need to reconnect with each other. I'm going to stand off to the side of this giant step here. We continue with our call to prayer, Baruch Hu, on pages 28 and the blessings following. If you're able, please rise. Page 30, we find our blessing of Ma'ariv Aravim, thanking God for the day becoming evening, but even more expansively for really what we know is every minute becoming the next, for every tiny little bit of transition that we take every second of our lives until it becomes miraculously who we are in the present. For that and for all of those transitions, in the Hebrew, 6 lines up from the bottom of the Hebrew, we sing together.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צוד שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה Adonai, Amari Varavim.
And on page 32, we give thanks to God for the blessing of Torah, for the stories which unravel themselves to us and teach us their mysteries and their lessons from when we are little until we are big, for all of the people that we encounter in those stories who teach us who to be and who not to be, for all of the places they instruct us to go and the kind of people to be. We give thanks. The one line at the bottom of page 32.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Yaedai, 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 yaedai,
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vahed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto
seated. I'd like to call up tomorrow morning's bar mitzvah, Sully Bartkowiak, to help us lead Ve'ahavta, which is found on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
Adonai Yaakov, ugalo miat chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Page 43. We'll read together at the top of the page in English, followed by its chatima, its closing line in Hebrew. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44.
Yismechu v'malchuteka, shomerei mekareshe shevi kulam yespehu vehitangu vituveka vehashvi ratzita bo vekidashto Chemdat yamim oto karata zecher l'maseh bereshit zecher l'maseh bereshit.
As Rabbi Bowman mentioned, there are many things that draw us, our community, whether this is our weekly community or we're here to celebrate or to support, lots of things that draw us into this room tonight. And I am really honored to be able to speak for a few moments about one of them, and particularly about one person in our community who's been a part of my life as long as I've been a part of his. I guess that's how all relationships go now that I say it out loud, but yeah, great. With sayings like that, I could be a senator. Great. But if I could ask my friend and a lifelong presence here at Touro to join me up here on the bima, Russell Edelman Cannon, for a few moments. Russell and I are going to stand in front of the ark while it's closed. You can stay seated, but when we give you a signal, please do rise as it's open, but not until then. Hi. Hi. Well, you scooped me on the first little bit I was going to say, which was that I know what you're thinking more than anything right now, which is, can I get one of those Hershey Kisses? And the answer is yes, you can have 2 tonight. And you also know that something I've been saying to you for years here, tongue-in-cheek obviously, is that I've known you since you were only 6 feet tall. But that joke actually reveals something, which is that I am one of many in this congregation, many who are even here tonight, who remember you as one of those little ones that bound up these aisles to come up here for your blessing on Erev Shabbat, for your chocolate, for your blessing with your eyes bright and all around, ready to tell us or not about your week. Russell, this bima knows you really, really well. You were consecrated here as a kindergartner. You became bar mitzvah here. You were confirmed here. On top of that lectern, almost 6 years ago tonight, you and your graduating classmates filled little boxes on Zoom while we gave you blessings 6 years ago. And now on this Shabbat, we get to welcome you back one more time. Always in my heart is that little kid running up the aisle, but in reality, as a man who's grown into someone truly spectacular. We've been blessing you from this spot your entire life. And tonight, it's my great joy and privilege to do it again because you are celebrating completing your graduate studies at Tulane School of Medicine in their Hayward Genetics Center. Your degree, I've been told, is in medical genetics and genomics. And your thesis was on the genetic variability of autism. I'll be honest, when your mom texted me that, I had to practice a little bit even just to get the words out, let alone to understand any of it. But here's what I do know, absolutely certain. Of course, Russell, this is the kind of work that you've dedicated yourself to. Of course, your focus in a world of topics innumerable to choose from, your choice is one that helps us change how we see people who have been misunderstood and not celebrated and unembraced. You're going to help us with your research to change that. And our tradition teaches us this idea of kol ham kayem nefesh echad, that one who sustains a single soul, it's as though you have sustained an entire world. You have chosen a path of world-sustaining work. And that is perhaps the least surprising thing when it comes to you, Russell. Because everyone who knows you knows that underneath all of that degree and letters and all of the science and technology and things I can't even get the words out to say right now, that first and foremost, you're just one of the sweetest and kindest human beings who has ever walked this earth, period. You are this gentle dragon of a human being whose fire has always been burning passionately to help people, to show off curiosity and to show compassion. So if you'll help me open this ark door, as you've helped a number of times throughout your life, I'd like to offer you a blessing in front of everyone who's here tonight. Please rise. Keep going. Russell, just as we said to the kids earlier tonight, and just as you received as a little one and throughout periods of your life and moments that celebrate you, I get to offer you this blessing. Thank you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Russell, may God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's face always shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be turned towards you and grant you the blessing of peace. Now continue to go from strength to strength. I have no doubt we will be back here for another blessing and some more chocolate soon. Mazel tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Standing and continue our service on pages 46 and following with the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagipor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor L'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid HaTal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umito melach, melech meimit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, v'neheman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדוש שמך יום יללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You can be seated. Top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Take a few moments now for Tefillat Halev, the prayers of our own hearts, whether found in the book or when we close our eyes and dig into our souls. Take a few moments.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני
Dedicate this moment to those who are in need of healing. With so many current and future medical professionals and healers in our community, and in knowledge of so much pain and hurt that is in our own families, our own communities, and certainly beyond our sphere across our entire city and country and world, we draw to mind both the frailty and the finitude of our human forms, and also the power and the strength of our caring hands and hearts and minds and spirits. We hold both of those in this moment of Misha Berach. If we would just take a few moments to draw to mind the people who are most in need of these healing prayers, those who are ill and wounded, those who are undergoing lengthy treatments and facing uncertain futures, those who suffer in ways that their entire community can see and know, and those who suffer silently and alone. We hold them in our hearts, picture their faces, whisper their names as we sing on page 253.
מי שברך gives us strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Isheper achimotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We stand on a precipice now. Indeed, if you look at this week's Torah reading in the scroll, and some of you will have a chance to get up close and personal with it tomorrow, you'll see it right there in black and white. Multiple empty lines that indicate the transition between one book and another. This week, we entered the wilderness, into the unknown. In her introduction to this new section of text in the Torah, a Women's Commentary, Rabbi Dr. Tamara Cohen-Eskenazi explains, the book of Numbers records the Israelites' 40 years' journey from Sinai to the plains of Moab, their last step before entering the Promised Land. The book begins with a census that numbers the eligible fighting men among the people who left Egypt, hence the English name Numbers. Yet it is the Hebrew name of the book, Bamidbar, in the wilderness of, that aptly captures the challenges the book describes. Wilderness is a place or time without orienting landmarks or structures. Numbers charts the journey through the wilderness and attempts to create new structures in the intermediary space for future life in the land. The book is itself a kind of wilderness, she continues, a seemingly chaotic combination of narratives, laws, and lists that can be roughly divided into 3 parts, because we like nothing better more than more numbers, right? Numbers narratives begin where Exodus 40 left off. The first part describes the orderly preparations and departure from Sinai, where the Israelites had camped for the past 2 years. The second part describes a descent into chaos with the Israelites' adventures or misadventures during the journey. This section is marked by numerous murmurings and rebellions and their dire consequences, including God's decision to doom the generation of the Exodus to die in the wilderness. And the third part describes the preparation of the new generation for life in the Promised Land. English and Jewish Studies professor Dr. Rachel Haverlock expounds upon this idea of the wilderness even further. The sacred space described in Parshat Bamidbar bridges the end of Exodus to the beginning of Numbers. Exodus concludes with a magisterial description of the tabernacle and the priests, both resplendent in the colorful handiwork of Israelite women. Once God's presence fills the tabernacle and not even Moses can enter, a distinction is made between divine and human. A distinction between divine and human becomes clear. Leviticus follows with laws concerning how to negotiate this boundary between the divine and the human, and then Numbers returns to the topic with which Exodus ended. In Numbers, the perspective is widened to include the formation of the Israelite camps with the tabernacle at its center. The tabernacle complex, with all of its collapsible boundaries and open spaces, creates a sense of order in the unfamiliar chaos of the wilderness. The tabernacle helps to orient the Israelites in the vast expanse that is the wilderness, since they stay or go based on the ascent and descent of the cloud of God's presence. In this sense, God lives amidst the Israelites throughout their journey to the Promised Land. Numbers, the English name of the book, alludes to the social organizations of the Israelites and the two censuses that frame the book in chapters 1 and 26. That Hebrew title, again, Bamidbar, highlights the transitory setting of the narrative. The contrast between these two titles reflects a tension between order and chaos, culture and nature, obedience and rebellion that characterizes the entire book and drives its plot. This type of tension also suffuses the concept of holiness that operates in the book, in which one recognizes both the creative and destructive power of God. While contact with God makes Israel holy, encountering God without preparation is potentially lethal. She concludes, although the scrupulous details of this parsha and other parts of the books may not immediately grip the reader, the underlying idea is that the ordering of community, and by extension one's life, creates the space for encounters with the divine. Whenever we arrive at the book of Numbers, which I have to admit might be my favorite of the books of the Torah, I know, we shouldn't choose favorites, but we do. I am always struck by these two quintessentially important pieces of insights we receive in these first verses, as Haverlock points out. The second is the role and responsibility of the census and everyone it counts. But I'm not going to say more about that right now because you'll hear all about it tomorrow morning. But that's the numbers part. Before that, we get the Bamidbar, the wilderness, the unknown, the possibility, and the potentiality. Contemporary biblical scholar, translator, and theologian Richard Elliott Friedman describes all that being in the wilderness, the journey, and the process can provide us. Wilderness emerges through the narrative not only as a setting, but as a theme of considerable significance. The Hebrew title of a book is a better indicator of the book contents than the Greek title, arithmoi, from which comes the English numbers. It also better captures the pervasive feeling of the book. The wilderness depiction conveys two quite different qualities. On the one hand, the wilderness years constitute a kind of ideal. The people's lives are orderly, protected, nurtured. It's a period of incubation. All is provided for them by God: food, water, and direction. The miraculous is the norm. And at the same time, the wilderness is depicted as absolutely terrible. Conditions are bad. The environment is hostile. There is rebellion from within and fighting from peoples with whom we encounter along the way. There are power struggles and fear. And then on top of it, this is depicted as having been almost entirely avoidable, a fate that's only come upon the people for having rejected the opportunity to enter the land in the first place. Numbers thus expresses pervasively a notion that is only begun in Leviticus, namely, again, that closeness to the divine is both glorious and dangerous. This dual picture of the ideal and awesome sides of the wilderness years is perhaps the most striking and singular aspect of the book of Numbers. Numbers alone, he exclaims, among the books of the Hebrew Bible, recounts the story of a single generation of the nation, involving the entire nation in a condition unlike that of any other times. In the early events and in the cosmic aspect of both continuous and situational miracles, the wilderness generation is like no other, and the book that tells its story is correspondingly unique. So Numbers, or really Bamidbar, guides us through the process of being and becoming. Being in the midst of it, the thick of it, leaning into what it means to be in process, a real human being, is the overarching message we begin to delve into this week. By emptying oneself of preconceptions, by allowing for deep spiritual experience, by becoming open to the possibility of encountering hidden treasures in a seemingly barren landscape, one becomes ready to find Torah. It isn't easy. It's not meant to be. But the journey is worth taking. It's worth the risk. The reward becomes a truer understanding of and emphasis on who we are, what we are capable of, an intimacy that is deeply personally meaningful and engaging. I'm reminded of a short parable that is my favorite reading in my prayer book to use. Okay, I get it. Rabbis only have favorites. I know. A little boy once found a chrysalis of a butterfly. One day, a small opening appeared, and he sat and watched for hours as the butterfly struggled to squeeze itself out through the tiny hole. And then it stopped, as if it could go on no further. So the little boy decided to help the poor butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and he snipped off the remaining bits of the chrysalis. The butterfly emerged easily, but it had a swollen body and shriveled wings. The boy waited, expecting that any minute the wings would expand to support the butterfly. But nothing happened. The butterfly spent the rest of its very brief life dragging its swollen body around, never able to fly. In his haste and his kindness to help the butterfly, the little boy, as we often do, failed to understand that the struggle that the butterfly had to go through to push through the small hole in the chrysalis was nature's way of forcing that extra fluid from its body into its wings to strengthen them. Only by struggling through the little hole would the butterfly be ready for flight. Bamidbar. It's a chrysalis. It's a womb. It's an incubator. It's a chance at life. It's there if we seek it, if we seize it, if we capture it and sense within it the possibility and potential that it offers. It's not easy. The struggle is real, palpable, and tangible. It's messy and complicated and sometimes tragic, and it's beautiful too. It's intimate and sacred and powerful and motivating and inspiring. When we were discussing this very idea yesterday, my mentor, Rabbi Matt Cutler, shared with me this insight from 19th century Italian-Austrian scholar and poet, Rabbi Samuel David Luzzatto, which I think captures this notion and spoke to me as an educator. No longer does God speak from on top of the mountain, but God spoke to Moses from within the tabernacle where God's presence had taken up residence. This now continues in every place where Torah is studied. God's voice can be heard in sanctuaries and in classrooms as if we are standing at the base of Sinai. This is our tabernacle. It is where we erected our camps. On the cusp of summer, by the time we return from our Summer Union series, we'll be already well into the book of Deuteronomy. The wandering wilderness space that Numbers provides for our possible growth and potential will be over. So sit with it, in it, and hold it close. Revel in the journey, not the destination. It makes us who we are. To just slightly paraphrase my favorite doctor, we're all journeys in the end. Just make it a good one, eh? Shabbat Shalom.
We're nearing the end of that journey to Sinai as we count the days from Passover to Shavuot. We turn to page 278 for Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. Hineni mukhan umzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel Sefirat HaOmer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Together, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Sefirat HaOmer. Hayom arba'a ve'arba'im yom shehem shisha shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 44 days of the Omer. We turn to page 282 and rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotze bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kecho hamonam, v'anachnu korehim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo U'shemo echad.
We dedicate this final moment of prayer in our service to the sacred act of memory. One of my favorite shows, The Good Place, wise as it was funny, includes these words about death. From Eastern religious traditions, you may remember this moment. Picture a wave. In the ocean, you can see it, measure it, its height, the way the sunlight refracts when it passes through, and it's there, and you can see it. You know what it is, it's a wave. And then it crashes in the shore and it's gone. But the water is still there. The wave was just a different way for the water to be for a while. You know it's one conception of death for Buddhists. The wave returns to the ocean where it came from and where it's supposed to be. This beautiful idea was echoed in the words of a great Jewish mind, Albert Einstein, who wrote the following letter in 1950, offering consolation to grieving parents who had lost their son at a young age. Einstein offers a truth only a few gifted spirits ever truly understand, that we are all essentially one, a part of a great whole, that we live for and through one another, and that perhaps a bit of peace can come from remembering that. And he wrote to them in memory of this beloved human being and said, "A human being is part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. The striving to free oneself from this delusion is the one issue of true religion. Not to nourish the delusion, but to try and overcome it, is the way to reach the attainable measure of peace of mind." In this moment of memory, may the running rivers and the pulsing waves and the vast and ever-expanding universe and us made of its stardust be embodiments of our love and our memory as we call these beloved souls to mind. We are in a period of mourning before the laying to rest of the following loved ones. They will be laid to rest in the next week: Colin Meyer, Rena Shar, and Nestor Lamartine. And it is our custom, if you wish to rise in honor of your loved ones, you are welcome to do so. We are in a period of Shiva for Esther Steinbach Vanderberg. We are in a period of Shloshim for Stephen Foster Cannon and Blanche Sefton Lutz. And the following loved ones have yahrzeit on this Shabbat. They died at this season in years past, and we remember with love William Adler, a past president of our synagogue, Leon E. Baer, Leah Offner-Deutsch, Samuel Edelstein, Justin Reed Aaronworth, Rose Kasdan Inalo, Ione Singerman Fellman, Bernice Finkelstein, Joseph Frank, Abe J. Friedman, Ross Friedman, Marcos Gershanik, Dr. Abe Golden, Julius Goldman, Shirley Weil Gringus, Meyer Handelman, Joseph H. Jody Hart IV, Bernard Hirsch Herman, Bertha K. Hochstein, Robert Alexander Bobby Katz, Ruth Bennett Katz, Jack Kootman, Frank Latner, William Mayer, Bernard David Mintz, Donald R. Mintz, past president of Touro Synagogue, Tom Olsner, Betty Ann Randolph Purcell, Seymour Rosenblatt, Goldie Philip Stower, Linda M. Sussman, Henry Weil, Samuel Julius Weiss, Joseph Zeldin. I'll bring my hand around the sanctuary. If you came to remember someone, you're welcome to rise and say their name. For those we call aloud tonight, for those we hold in our heart every time we say Kaddish, and for those for whom there is no one left to say Kaddish, as a community, we turn to page 294 and rise in their honor and declare, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, Uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'elah min kol berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world. May God comfort all those who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen. You may be seated. As ever, it is a delight to share the bima with our congregational president, Kevin Wilkins, who will come forward for some words of greeting and announcements. Here, let's try that.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, y'all. It is so nice to see so many people here this evening, and thank you for joining us on live stream. Sully, thank you and your mom and your brother for kindling the Shabbat candles tonight. It was really, really special. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, and you're gonna do so well. We're all behind you. Thank you to Liz Herman and Ann Kaufman and Kathy Shepard for greeting us so warmly this evening. Thank you for the staff as well as for lay leadership who are really focusing on security right now. Sarah Gershon, Sarah Tucker Lazarus, a whole team of people, the New Orleans police. We take it really, really seriously. Safety among all else. When people are here, they need to feel secure, and that will always be a priority. Thank you to our Shabbat Pulpit Flower sponsors this evening. The Pulpit Flowers are given in honor of the bar mitzvah of Selwyn Barkowiak by his parents, Rachel and Brandon Barkowiak, in memory of Joseph H. Jody Hart IV by Michelle Allen Hart, Avery Hart, and Harry Hart, in memory of Betty Ann Randolph Purcell by Bill Purcell. Thank you to our Shabbat live stream sponsors. The live streams are given in memory of Marcus Gershanik by Anna and Juan Gershanik and family, in memory of Esther Steinbach Vanderberg by Bill Purcell. Special congratulations and mazel tov to Russell. What an amazing milestone. We are so proud of you and excited to see what you're going to do next. Shabbat morning begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Shabbat Shiur, and followed by the bar mitzvah of Sullivan Adventure Barkowiak at 10:30 a.m. Mazel tov. It's going to be a really, really fantastic morning. We are looking forward to celebrating Touro with you at this Sunday, May 17th, at our 198th annual meeting. 198th meeting. If it's been around that long, it must be interesting. It must be cool. You're going to come and learn special things. We're going to reflect on this past year and talk about membership and security and Tikkun Olam. And then we're going to be talking about what the priorities are for next year. And then we'll have the 199th meeting, and that'll be equally as exciting. So everyone who is here this evening, please plan to come at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning to celebrate Touro, to hear about a thriving community. It'll be 10 o'clock here in the sanctuary. This Sunday also marks the opening of a powerful new exhibition by artist Naomi Leifshitz Grant right here at Touro. Naomi's art reflects on the moral and emotional complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian war through the lens of ancient Jewish texts and teaching. The exhibition creates the contemplative space for reflection, questioning, and conversation, and we hope you'll join us. The self-guided exhibition will be on display through May 23rd. It's really special, you have to see it. We will welcome Naomi Leifshitz Grants for Tikkun Leil Shavuot next Thursday, May 21st. All are invited to join the tradition of nighttime study of Touro, beginning with Shavuot service at 7 p.m., followed by 2 opportunities to learn and engage, a creative ink wash workshop with Naomi Leifshitz Grant, or a text study and exploration with our clergy. Please see your order of service right here. I'm nothing without props. Please see your order of service for more information and to RSVP. And don't miss the beautiful installation of Naomi's Jewish text-based pieces, available for viewing throughout the week during regular business hours. All are welcome to join us for Shabbat dinner in the Grand Meyer Pavilion this evening in the Jacob Social Hall. Following services, tonight's Shabbat dinner is given in honor of the bar mitzvah of Sullivan one more time, I know your name. It's just throwing me tonight. Sullivan Barkowiak and his grandparents, Jane and Stephen Kligman. In honor of Russell Adelman Kanan receiving his Master's of Science degree in the Medical Genetics and Genomics from Tulane University by the Adelman Kanan family. Mazel tov again, Russell. That's awesome. In closing, a special welcome to the Tulane Medical Society students who are joining us tonight. Could you all stand if you're a medical student? That's awesome. You all clustered over there. That's great. We all know where to find you right now. That's fantastic. To our medical students and to physicians, please be sure to find your designated tables for dinner. So all are welcome to stay for dinner. The students will be at specific tables that are labeled for you all. We hope that you will enjoy this unique opportunity for an exchange of ideas and advice between doctors and students across a range of specialties and career stages. Shabbat Shalom. And at this moment, I would like to welcome Laura Adelman Cannon for a special message about tomorrow's election.
Okay, I realize I'm standing between you and your food right now. So I'm going to make it really short, but it is really important. If you are registered to vote in Louisiana, we do have an election tomorrow. Okay? So everyone is going to go vote. I think it's very appropriate that it also coincides with the Book of Numbers, because to be counted is how we end up exiting the wilderness. So you might be thinking that we're sort of in the wilderness here in Louisiana in terms of voting and redistricting and things like that. And I am sure there are a lot of people in this room with opinions about that, and you can ask them. I will not tell you how to vote. I'm just going to tell you you need to vote. Polls open at 7. They close at 8. People like me will be waiting for you. If you don't come, we're really, really bored, okay? It's a really long day. Please go on your phone, download the Go Vote app. There is a sample ballot. There are 4 constitutional amendments, maybe 5? There are 5 constitutional amendments. Please read them. Don't just vote all yes or all no. It's super, super important that you actually read them and think about them. There are a lot of important offices, judges. We do need to vote for those. If you're not sure, look the people up. I promise. It's super important. But if you mark your ballot ahead of time, then when you go into the polls, you know what you're doing, okay? So is everyone going to go vote tomorrow? Yay! Go vote. Okay, thank you. Now we can have dinner.
And then come here on Sunday at 10 a.m.
Thank you so much, Laura, and for your community service. We will come visit you tomorrow, we promise. Want to extend one final word of welcome to everyone who is here. Even if you didn't plan to stay for our Shabbat dinner, which we have weekly, I hope that you'll consider doing so, and to introduce yourself to those of us who are on the Bima. As you can see from everyone who's come to the Bima tonight, it's a very friendly, warm congregation, and we're looking forward to getting to know all of you. Our closing song is Adon Olam, page 321. Please rise.
Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, Le'et nasa b'pefto kol, Azai melech shemo nikra. Ve'acharei kivot hakol, Levado yimok nora, Ve'hu haya, Ve'hu hoven, Ve'hu yeh. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for returning your Seder Ream to one of the shelves in the back. And we'll see everyone at Shabbat dinner.